There was no shortage of velocity at the Prep Baseball Report feature games, but it was some serious spin that helped Colorado's Mitch Haythorn be named most valuable pitcher. Mitch, welcome in, man. Congratulations on the honor.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me.
You threw 2 innings against Connecticut, striking out the first 3 batters you saw, 5 of 7 in all. What was your mentality going into it, knowing that, I mean, like every other pitcher at feature games, you're facing some of the best uncommitted batters in the country?
That was probably the best I've ever felt throwing. I think just with all the scouts being there and stuff, it kind of helped fuel me. And, just being from Colorado and stuff, that definitely does as well. But it was an awesome experience. And I really felt really good on that day. So I was kind of lucky with that as far as my arm goes. But it was an awesome experience. So.
Your slider was the talk of the event. PBR shooter Hunt said that called it the single best pitch that he saw from anybody. How long have you been throwing that, and how long has it taken you to get to the point where it's the weapon that it is?
I started throwing it when I was 12 years old. Mike Anderson taught me it. He has a barn. He said that if my arm ever hurt or ever saw me getting outside on it or anything, that I couldn't throw it. And my dad was the same way, wouldn't let me throw it if I ever had any issues. And I never did really. Always kind of just threw it the right way and had a good feel for it. And so I've been working on it for about almost 5 years. So.
Also getting up to 90 with the fastball, working that changeup in there, the low, the mid 80s to augment that slider. What's the next development for you as a pitcher in your mind?
In my opinion, is just locating, obviously, the fastball and slider. When I'm down in counts, I'm really trying to work on throwing my slider, say like 2-0, even 3-0 when I have a good feel for it, just because it's not expected at all. And my changeup is the big thing right now. I need to have that third pitch really be there, and I need to get more confident with that, not just throwing it to lefties, but righties as well. So I think that's probably the biggest thing right now for me.
Obviously, plenty of attention comes players' ways after the feature games. Have you already seen a strong, elevation in your own profile here with colleges showing more interest in you as a player?
It changed my life. The past couple weeks have been pretty awesome. With recruiting and everything, it's really starting to pick up, and I'm just trying to enjoy it as much as I can. At times it can be stressful, but it's awesome. I'm really just trying to enjoy it right now, take it slow as far as like my commitment goes, but it's changed my life in all honesty. So.
Oh, that's great, man. I'm sure it's a fun ride. So I know you've got a ball. Take me through these grips, man. I want to see how you do what you do.
Four seam is kind of here. I kind of just like that. I mean, sometimes I'll get a little closer on the grip. I think that allows me to run it a little bit more, and my middle finger is just a little bit farther on it than my pointer finger, and I'm really just thinking to flick it as hard as I can. Not as much throw it as hard as I can, but the flick. Sometimes I do throw a two seam, kind of like that, but I find that on my four seam that I run it a lot more than my two seam does. And for my slider, at first I used to throw it like this, kind of on the horseshoe a little bit, but I've changed it now to like on all four seams. I think it tunnels better as far as like making it look like the fastball. And I'm really just thinking flicking that down. It's ball, but the way it moves, it's like a two plane. So that's something I've really tried to work on. And my change up, pretty simple. It's just a 3-finger grip kind of, and I'm really just thinking push with the thumb and still throw it hard, not take anything off, because even with my slider as well, when I baby it and stuff, that's when it gets hit. But especially against these good hitters, I got to make sure that I'm throwing with intent and purpose.
Well, Mitch, listen, man, I appreciate the time. Congrats and enjoy this ride, man. I know everything's going a mile an hour here after the feature games, but thank you so much, man. Congratulations.
Well, thank you so much for having me. It means a lot, and thanks a lot.